Hello, my name is EDISON ALVAREZ. Thank you for joining me. Today, I'm learning English while being critical of the language. We will answer the question, is a student who is learning English as a second language really capable of becoming critical of the language? Join me as we find out. Before we begin, for students, it's really a different task to learn a second language. Therefore, to become critical of it may make them feel like an additional task that needs to be fulfilled. I propose that in order to achieve both, the teacher can structure a lesson plan so that the language learning and the critical part isn't being let out. One way to achieve that is to have a student research different local or world news using different sources like the internet, newspaper, or magazine that have each student create a reaction paper. By having to read news stories, students will have to critically analyze the story to have a full understanding of what news is accounting and how they feel about the situation. In order for students to have a better understanding of the activity, the teacher can begin the lesson by modeling an example of what is expected by each student. The teacher hands out a short news article to all the students. As a class, they can read the article and then the teacher may begin to ask questions like, what's the main idea of the article? What problem is presented? Who is being affected? What are my thoughts? How does it make me feel? So what is a proposed situation? While at the same time becoming aware of vocabulary words or phrases students may have never been exposed to. In the structure of the lesson, it is important to keep in mind the main objective of the lesson, which is to maintain two important aspects of the language: learning the language and being critical. This has to be present and the lesson should be organized in that way. When presenting the lesson, the teacher can implement tools or techniques which can allow the students to analyze and think more profoundly about the topic. They can use tools or techniques such as asking the student questions while reading the article together. Asking the question will help them be more attentive to the reading and look out for the meaning of the text. Also, the help in the lesson, the teacher may incorporate discussion amongst the students so that the students can learn from the different ideas or thoughts of the students. By doing this, they are practicing their critical skills by being able to share their understanding. As mentioned before, for some students, it is already difficult to read a second language, and being critical can just add to the stress of learning the language. Therefore, it's important to maintain the excitement of the language. The students may be excited in learning a language and we want to keep that momentum. But doing an exercise like the one of researching a news stories of that can be a topic of interest of the students. They will be able to practice their reading and writing skills. Also, the opportunity to learn more vocabulary words and phrases. They will be learning new skills so that when they read any text, they will not just read through it, but begin to generate more questions in their head while reading. Creating a reaction paper allows for students to analyze a text and generate a reaction response to a new story. In a reaction paper, the students tend to share their reaction to a story by asking themselves questions while they read the text. They answer questions like how they feel, if they agree, if they identify with the story, etc. With the focus of the exercise to be in local or world news, it is a great and easy way to generate a reaction to a situation or problematic occurring in their own city or the world in general, and which can directly or indirectly be affecting them. It's a way for them to also analyze the situation and help for a better understanding of a problematic. At times, the focus of lost on how we should be teaching our students. Creating a critical literacy doesn't only apply to learning a second language. It should also apply to how each student learns each subject. Their capabilities of being analytical and understanding of a test should come from the guide of the teacher. Helping students to learn these techniques can become so beneficial for the development of their personal and educational growth. By providing students with activities that will allow them to make a deeper effort in understanding the context of the material, you are helping them become more critical learners. It is possible for students to become critical of the language if its teacher is capable of developing lessons and activities in which you don't lose the focus of learning a second language, but also allows for the students to be critical, as is the case of the reaction paper to a news story. Teachers face a great responsibility in the development and success of the students. It is important to create awareness of the needs to the students and do our best to implement whatever tool that can be helpful.